Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Board Gaming Doctor. My name is Phil, and I'll be your Board Game Doctor today. And this video is my thoughts on Hutan. This is a game that I was able to play and collaborate on with Absolute Stooge and Sorcerer Matt. We really enjoyed the time that we got to spend playing this game with each other, and I highly encourage that you go to their channel, subscribe to their material if you like what they do, and check out their videos as well because they will showcase the entire experience that we had learning this game. This video is focused more on my impressions and review of Hutan. And I do encourage you to go and check out the other videos as well, just so you can see who ends up winning some of these games because they came down to the wire and some really interesting moves happened um, right now in this particular game. Something big would happen here on turn 9. So I don't want to spoil it, but you should go and check it out. So as an overview, we are placing down these tiles. So the mechanical uh, overview of this game is we're placing down different colored tiles onto our boards. We all share the same kind of board, and we get these tiles by drafting cards that show what colored tiles and how many of them we get. The goal is to, in each of these closed off areas, some are 2 squares, some are 3, some are 4. You want to get as many or the entire square full of the same colored tile and flower. If you do so, you will get points. If you don't, you lose points. If you have placed a tile in there and it's not fulfilled completely by the end of the game. The thing is that you can do with this game is you can draft the same colored flower and place it on top of a previously placed flower. If you do so, you get to plant a tree, which is worth points at the end of the game. And if you are able to plant a tree in every single space, you grab one of the limited animals that are available for each of these colors. You get points for placing an animal, and you also get to fertilize, where you essentially will, like in Pandemic, place another colored tile of your choosing in legal adjacent spaces. And so you go ahead, you draft your cards throughout the turn, play through 9 rounds. So you're essentially playing 2 cards worth of tiles per turn. So 18 choices essentially of tiles. And whoever has the most points wins. So this is a fairly straightforward game. I really enjoyed it. My first experience with it, when I first heard about it a couple of months ago, because I feel like this game, which was, I forgot to mention too, this was released earlier this year, and it's from the same designers of Heat. So that initially brought me in, but I didn't really understand it. I knew it was a lighter game, more abstracted than, say, Heat was. But it wasn't until I played it this time that things seemed to click, and this game really stood out as something intriguing and replayable to me. I think it's really fun to experience the drafting and to make choices whether to draft a certain color or combination of tiles that you can grab. There's also a rule for who gets to draft first in turn order next turn. Is after the first player plays, they give up the first player token. You can draft that token instead of one of these cards in order to place a wildflower in any location. You do end up getting less flowers for that, but you do have the wild option and flexibility there, and to be able to be first player in the next round. So I really liked the tactical nature of deciding when to utilize that and hopefully grab that first player token first to help you search for the flowers that you really needed. There are certain tiles as well that offer you a wildflower as well. So I really like the choices that are offered. I believe there are about 70 cards, and you see about half of them. So it's widely variable on what you might grab. I do feel like there is a luck element to this game. But in all, I think it played really quick, and it's really easy to redraw and play again. Some game comparisons, in addition to the small mechanical comparison to Pandemic, this is by no means, but in theme and mechanism, anything like Pandemic. But thinking about games, I feel like the drafting was very similar to a game like Zularedo, or sorry, Coloretto in particular. It kind of fit that same. It's a little bit more complex than that, but it kind of fit that same uh, drafting mechanism. It actually reminded me a lot of, as it reminded me of Rosenberg games that are the lighter box tile drafting type of games, such as Nova Luna, even Applejack. I felt like the element of drafting these tiles and placing them onto your map really kind of fit that same speed, right? So so it hits that same complexity and playtime, but it still felt unique in the fact that, like, games that just came to mind, like Acropolis, where there's an element of building on top of your own tiles. I feel like this game offers that opportunity. For example, in some of these games here on my own player board, I was really focusing on doubling up on these colored tiles early so I could place trees. However, when it did come time to fill out a entire section with trees, I could place an animal, but since it was surrounded by other trees, I couldn't fertilize efficiently. And so, knowing when to fill up a tile completely or an area completely, even if you have the opportunity to do so, it may not be of benefit to do it until you have a more established surrounding area, so that when you do fertilize, it is of to your mower, to it's more beneficial essentially. So I really enjoyed the decisions that you make in this game. It starts out pretty open ended. It kind of gets a little tight, and then it may or may not become tighter or more open ended as you go along, and you won't be able to fill out your entire board most likely. And so, where do you make sacrifices in scoring? Sometimes you place tiles onto an area that you won't be able to fulfill, but it may lose you less points in that versus playing a tile somewhere where it would lose you more points at the end. And so really interesting decisions going on here for the weight and complexity that this game offers. And to share my screen of my rating of Hutan here on Board Game Geek, it's interesting, that these games that are lighter in nature are somewhat more difficult to utilize my own criteria, I feel like, to rate this game, but I feel pretty good about a score of 7.4 out of 10. I think it's easy to learn. It plays really quickly, which does it a lot of benefit. I think it's more of a luck driven, tactical type of game where you can really hope for and plan for the best, but if the cards don't end up being to your favor, and if you just miss out on the turn order to draft some of those cards, you might miss out, and you could essentially blame the luck for losing rather than yourself. And so I really do like the turns. It's not as strategic, but I mean, you still have the opportunity to understand your board and know where to start, kind of hopefully navigate and mitigate the luck that you will gain by diverging out into different spots. I think there is some strategy behind that, and so I think it's there. It's just not as grand as some other games might be, even if they are abstracted games. I mean, there's not a lot of thematic integration here. I should probably get rid of that, honestly, if I'm being honest. There is a solo mode, but I haven't played it yet. And yeah, so I think there are a lot of cards, and the way that they come out really change what the game feels like every time. And this might not be the hardest game to master, once again, because of the luck, but also because of the overall strategy. It's still a really fun game, and I like the variability that this game also offers out of the box, including different scenarios, different accomplishments that you want to try to get, especially with the solo mode and different maps that you can play on solo or multiplayer. And so I do like the options that you have to really understand this game a little bit more, despite its low weight. I think it is very fun, and I really enjoyed my time playing this, not only because of who I was able to play with, but because of the game itself. So if this seems interesting to you, if you are in the mood for a lighter game that has some interesting decisions, and you do enjoy Rosenberg's that are the Rosenberg, tile layers and drafting, patchwork, Nova Luna, framework, Applejack, etc., then I think Hutan might be interesting to you as well. So thank you for joining me today, listening to my first impressions of Hutan, Life in the Rainforest. And please, once again, go and check out Absolute Stooge and Sorcerer Matt on their channels, respectively, to see their perspectives of this game as well as the content that they offer. Thank you again, and I'll catch you on the next one.